Hello everyone, this is Usman and today with A-level mathematics. In this particular tutorial, we are going to introduce ourselves with the topic absolute function. In this particular tutorial, student of CAIE needs to master the following objectives. Number one, it also has 3 points. Understand the meaning of these two vertical lines including x, called the modulus of the function or the absolute value of the function. Secondly, he must be able to sketch the graph of y is equals to mod of ax plus b and use the relation such as modulus of a equals to modulus of b. This implies a square must be equals to b square, or modulus of a equals to b is equivalent to saying a equals to a square equals to b square. To solve equations and inequalities, when modulus of x minus a is less than or equals to b, it can be written as x is greater than a minus b and x is less than a plus b. Students, absolute value function is a very simple idea. But then, the simple ideas may give birth to the very deep implications and complications. Let me give you definition of this absolute function, and I'm going to give you the variety of definitions of absolute functions that will go from most common, simple to the complicated and abstract definitions. So here I'm going to give you the first definition. The first definition says the absolute value of any number is the positive value of that number, and we call it the absolute value. This is the very basic definition of your absolute value function. If you have a number 2 and we need to find the absolute value of this 2, what you have to do? What you have to do is take the positive value of this 2, which is again 2. If we have any number minus 4 and it is in those two vertical lines, these two vertical lines represents the absolute value of minus 4. And according to the definition of absolute numbers, the minus 4 will become the positive value of minus 4, which is going to be 4. Now let's complicate the issue a bit. If we take mod of 12 minus mod of minus 4, what will be the answer? The positive value of 12, it is going to be 12, and the negative value of minus 4, if we take the absolute value of minus 4, this will give us the positive value of minus 4. So that is going to be 4 again. This time we are not going to have minus 4. Instead we will write the positive value of minus 4 because this minus 4 is in the mods. So the answer is 4. 12 minus 4 as a whole will give us the value that is equals to 8. This was the most basic and the simplest of all the definitions that I can give you for the absolute functions. Let us now move into the definition number 2, which is the most reliable sort of a definition for this absolute function. And this type of definition, which is the second definition of the absolute function, is it's divide this absolute function into two pieces, and we call that the piecewise function. If you are given with the absolute value of x, you can write it in two ways. We can have the value of x greater than 0 and we can have the value of x that is less than 0. If the value of x is greater than 0, we will leave it as it is. However, if the value of x is less than 0, then we have to multiply that x with negative sign. For example, students, to understand it, let us we are having the mod of 3, means x is replaced with 3. So now if we look at it, the value of x is greater than 0, so we have to leave as this x as it is. So this 3 becomes 3. However, if we are having the negative of a 3, means the value of x in this case is less than 0. Now what we have to do, we won't write it at 3, we will multiply this minus 3 with the negative sign. So what we are going to get? We are going to get the positive value of this 3. Now let's move on to definition number 3, and I have saved the best definition in the last. What it says, the third definition of absolute function says the distance of a number from the origin. whatever the absolute value we are having, here in our case we are having x, so the distance of x from the origin, or in other words we can say that how far is this x whose absolute value we are going to take is away from the origin. Let's consider a simple integral line. Draw this diagram. We call this the integral line starting from this point, and we call this the origin. Now if we want to take the absolute value of any number, let's say that number is equals to 3. What we have to take according to the definition? The distance of the number from the origin. How far 3 is from the origin. And we can see that the distance of 3 from the origin is this line. So this is 1, 2, 3. Answer is going to be 3. However, students, if we want to take the modulus of the negative number, let's say minus 2. According to this definition, how far the negative number 2 is from the origin, and this is the distance. So again, what do you have to say? We will say that the distance is equals to 2 units. So this brings us to the end of these 3 definitions that are related with the absolute function. And also, students, you should be aware what we do if we have the inequality with the absolute numbers or the absolute value function. For instance, mod of x is less than or equals to 3. Then students, you can simply take the idea that the value of x will lie between 3 and minus 3. Value of x is greater than minus 3 or equals to, and value of x is less than or equals to the positive value of 3. What this means is, if you take the value of x in this range, let's take the value minus 2. And we know that the mod of n in value minus 2 will be positive 2, which will be less than or equals to 3, and hence satisfying this inequality. If you take the positive value 2, again it is lying in this range, and value of positive 2, mod of positive 2 will be a positive value of 2, which will also be satisfying this inequality. However, students, if you take the number, for instance, minus 7, the minus 7 number will be a positive 7 for this mod, and that will not be satisfying this inequality. Hence, the value of x for any inequality that you can take should lie in this range, inclusively minus 3 and 3. And students, this brings us to the end of today's tutorial. As always, thank you very much for watching Mathematics with Usman. See you in another tutorial. Till then, it's